with Chef Dawn. I'm so excited about today's dish. I think you guys are going to be super excited about it. I'm sorry about my little ankle biter over there. Apparently somebody's outside, so she's going to be barking for a moment. Give me 1 second. Cindy. No. Anyway, back to business. So, first things first, always make sure, if you are a newcomer, make sure your hair is back into, if you have long hair. If you have short hair, well, you know, if you can pull it back, pull it back. If not, no big deal. But just go ahead and let's go ahead and wash our hands, count to the ABCs, all the way through to Z, A to Z, and then we will get started on our dish. All right, get this going here. Okay. Let me get myself back on here. So I hope everybody's had a good day today. And okay. So today we are actually going to be making New Orleans shrimp. So at any time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask the questions during this event. So let's get started. Let's go over the ingredients that you're going to need. So first of all, you're going to need the Italian parsley. Remember, I was telling you you needed to get the flat leaf parsley. At your grocery store, it will actually say parsley. This one only says plain parsley. That's kind of odd. But this is Italian parsley. So as you notice, it's flat leaf. It's not the curly leaf parsley. So you'll need about 1/4 of a bunch of that. You'll need at least 1 of the plum tomatoes. So I actually have 2 of them for just in case that I need more, but you'll need about 1/4 cup of the diced tomatoes. You're going to need the Kerrygold garlic butter. So I don't know if you can actually see that, but there you go. You will need your Cajun spice or Creole seasoning. We are also going to be needing our black cracked pepper and our garlic and onion granules, black cracked pepper. Your red onion. You're going to need lemon and lime. You're going to need your 1 can of the red beans or light red kidney beans. And you're going to need white rice. So we're going to go ahead and get our white rice started first because that's going to take the longest time. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the white rice is a little bit different than the jasmine rice. The white rice I will actually rinse quite a bit until it gets pretty clear. I have never been able to actually get the water fully clear, but I do try to rinse this a little bit. The other thing you're going to need is the 1 pound of the 1 pound of the large shrimp. Oh no, 1.5 pounds of the large shrimp. So that's already thawed out. It's deveined and it's already shelled for me. If yours is actually still has the shell on and still has a vein inside, I can show you what you'll need to do in order to get that vein out. That's the last thing you ever want to do is actually have the veins in the shrimp. That's where a lot of people lose their love for seafood, is that they have a shrimp or a lobster or something like that with that vein in there, and it gets gritty and it's kind of gross. So if you had that and you're not a seafood lover, that's probably what happened to you, and so you should give it another shot. So if it's made right, you'll love it. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get our rice started. Okay, so Make sure you have your pan with a nice tight fitted lid. So we're going to put the lid over there for now. We are going to do 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. So I have 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. Okay. Get my knife so that I can flatten it out. Make sure that I get it nice and level. So I'm gonna bring you guys over here. Hi Renee, thank you so much for watching. Glad to have you back on the class. You're on a roll. I think this is 3 for 3 now. I hope you're enjoying everything. So we're just going to dump that right in there. So let me go ahead and show you guys what we're doing. Okay, so I usually do this in the bowl whenever I'm doing the measuring cup, and I'll like go back, but make sure the flat side to go back and forth, okay? Anyway, so I go over a bowl so that I'm not wasting the rice. And then I will go ahead and put that back in to my bag. Okay. I will put this aside. Thank you, I'm glad you are. The whole goal is to try to make everybody comfortable with cooking and learning some new recipes. Okay, I'm gonna get this to the side over here. All right, so now I'm going to rinse this this water, or the rice. I'm gonna take you guys over here for 1 second. Already my shrimp, it's all pretty and draining. Hi Susan, thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so I'm gonna just bring you guys over here to the sink. Whoops, hang on, got technical difficulties. Okay, see if we get that back on. There we go. Now, I need to get a camera crew. All right, go ahead and get this over here so that I can show you a little bit about what we're doing here. All right, so I'm rinsing this white rice, as you can see. And you see it's a little bit cloudy. This one's not so bad. This is the organic white rice that we get. But some of them will be super, super milky. Like really, really milky. So we just kind of want to rinse those out. See that, how milky that water is? Just drain it through your hands. I'm going to rinse it again. Okay. I'm going to This one looks like it's not gonna be so bad. So it looks like we're only gonna have to do 2 of these. See, it's not so terribly murky. No. Get that nice and drained. Put that back in there. Okay. Rinse my hand off. And we'll bring you guys back to the stove. All right, so now, better see if I can get you guys. Make sure that's better. Okay, let's back you up a little bit here. Okay, how's everybody doing today? Okay, so now we're going to get 2 cups of water. Okay, so about 2 cups of water. I'm gonna pour that in there with our rice. Make sure that any rice that you see on the sides over here, that you get that back down into the pan. This is not on, this pan is not on. Do not stick your fingers in the pan. So swish that around a little bit just to get it a little even. Okay. And then we are going to do I like to add a little bit of salt. So the salt, I would say probably about a 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. And then I also like to add a little bit of butter. So I'm probably going to add just like maybe about 2 tablespoons of butter. All right, so I like cutting them in 1 tablespoon segments. You just add 1 here, and we'll add 1 there. We're gonna turn our rice on. Let that get to a nice boil, and then what we'll end up doing is we'll actually turn it on super low or even off and let it simmer and let it just, steam in its own self. So, anybody have any questions so far? Hi, Ina. Thank you for joining us, and Jarmilla. And Amanda and Kevin, it's good to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So now while that's doing its thing, we're going to kind of go over and actually start getting all of the ingredients set up and cut up and ready for the shrimp. The shrimp is not going to take very long. The shrimp, if you cook that shrimp longer than like 1.5 minutes, it's just going to be nice and rubbery. So let's move everybody on over here. So we can go to our workstation. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands one more time. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to actually arrange our, I like to actually do our vegetables first. The recipe will actually say to go ahead and arrange your shrimp first on the cookie sheet and pat dry them and everything. But and I don't really like to mess with the meats when I'm getting ready to, and then mess with the vegetables. So I like to do the vegetables first and get all of that set and ready to go before I even mess with the shrimp. So let's go ahead and get our little bowls and stuff out here. I have lots of garlic kind of everywhere. Lots of garlic in my house. So, first thing you're gonna do, make sure that you wash all of these. Everything has been washed already. So before I came on, I wanted to make sure that we didn't have to go through all the steps of washing. But make sure that you wash your vegetables, your parsley, your tomato, including, believe it or not, your lemons and limes. Make sure everything gets washed. You can just simply run it under nice cold water and just kind of, you know, hand wash them. Don't use dishwashing detergent or anything. You're gonna make yourself sick. So anyway, so let's go ahead and start with our plum tomato. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna slice the end off here. I leave the other end on because, well, it's a good tomato. We're gonna slice this right, we're gonna have the flat side down. We're gonna slice it down the center here, okay? So we have two nice sides of the tomato, and it's flat on one side, so it's easy to cut, and then you're not gonna have your tomato rolling around like this and taking a chance of cutting your fingers. So it's all about safety in the kitchen. So then I will take my knife and I will just kind of make cuts into it lengthwise. And then what I'll do is I will put it to turn it, and then I'm going to make the cuts this way, and this will be dicing our tomatoes, okay? Make sure your knives are sharp. A dull knife is just as bad as a ridiculously sharp knife. It can hurt you probably worse than a really good sharp knife can hurt you. So just make sure your knives are nice and sharp. I like to go in here and just make these just a little bit more even. You only need 1/4 of a cup of the tomato. Okay, make sure these are nice looking. Look how beautiful these are. Absolutely beautiful. Just making sure everything's nice and even. Okay, so I'm gonna take my 1/4 of a cup. I'm gonna measure this out. And the other reason why I always say 2 tomatoes, even though this technically only takes a half a tomato, is sometimes if you buy your tomatoes and you don't realize that maybe there's a part of it that's bad, and that's the worst thing that can ever happen is you don't have a tomato to work with. So it's happened. Strangest things. Anyway, put this in a little bowl and set it aside. All right. Hi, Stormy. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, Jarmella, you're beautiful too. Thank you so much. All right. So next, I'm going to go ahead and clean my workstation. Get all that tomato juice out of there. I'm going to put the leftover tomato into a Ziploc bag and put that aside. These Roma tomatoes are also super awesome with basil and mozzarella. And then, of course, you know, your balsamic vinaigrette. So good. Caprese salad. Super quick, super easy. All right, let's clean this again. All right. All right, so now the parsley, probably about 1/4 of a bunch. You just kind of twist that off just like that. There is a lot of flavor in the stems here. So we're actually going to take the bigger stems off, but leave the thinner stems on. So if it's like super thick like that, I don't know if you can see that. Turn that off. If you can see this here, you want to take that off. But the thinner ones are like these, you'll leave those on. So they're really nice. Okay. Just go through your parsley. Thin stems are great. A lot of flavor in the stems. Anybody have any questions so far? Everybody good? All right. This I found when Publix, they still have it online. I did find it. I did put the link to the recipe in the description of this live video, so that you guys could have it to enjoy. But this recipe I found a long time ago. This was like probably in 2000. When did I find this? I want to say probably found it in 2007. Might have been 2008, but I found this recipe and it's been a family favorite ever since. And it is a Publix simple recipes from their I guess it's their aprons recipes now, but it was the simple recipes back in the day. So now I'm going to take my parsley and I'm going to kind of make it into a nice little pile here, okay? And then I'm going to show you if I can get, okay. Oh yes, this will be posted on Cooking with Chef Dawn, so you'll be able to watch it anytime. So you're good to go, so no worries. So anyway, so I take my parsley and I make a nice little bunch here, and then I actually make a rocking motion, kind of like this, to cut up my parsley. If you don't have knife skills, please don't do that. You can also do it like this. That'll be good, but I start it like this. Make sure your parsley is nice and dry as well. If it's not, you're gonna make a green mess. So it's very important that the parsley is nice and dry. If you have a salad spinner, that's a really good way of getting this nice and getting them dried out. So now that I have most of it nice and chopped up, I'm going to go ahead and nice and finely chopped. I'd like to give a shout out to Publix too. So they're apparently, from what I was reading over in, I think it's Osceola, place I grew up in, they are giving away, they're allowing, I guess, a shopper or a couple of shoppers to do 1 hour of shopping, and the bill is on them. So congratulations to whoever is the winner. And it was a nice gesture on Publix. So next, we are going to, oh, and by the way, I am not a spokesperson for Publix. I just happen to like the recipes. So let's go ahead and measure this out. So we'll need a quarter cup of the fresh parsley. So I want to make sure that this is dried out. This only had tomatoes in it, so I'm good there. So, and if you don't have a quarter of a cup, just get some more parsley and chop it up. Oh, I guess it's raining out. We needed it. All right, let's go ahead and get some more parsley. Big stems out. Hi Tish, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys are all doing well. Staying safe, practicing social distancing. So. have any questions, please feel free at any time to ask those questions. So we want to make sure that everybody's questions are answered. Okay. Quarter cup. Look at that. Nice, neat, finely chopped quarter cup. All right. Put that in there, and we'll set that aside. All right. Go ahead and wash the hands again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shrink you guys back up. There we go. So next, we are going to go ahead and measure out. We're going to do 2 different measurements with our Creole seasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cutting board out of the way so we're not, keeping too much of a mess. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. What I recommend for the rest of your parsley is to make sure you put it in another container. So, because you can use it on other items for like garnishments, or if you need it for another dish. That way you're not wasting any of the herb. Nice workstation, nice and cleaned up. Any questions so far? Okay. No questions. We are on a roll. I hope I'm explaining everything nice to everybody so everybody can understand. Okay. Nice cutting board. All right. Everything's all nice and clean. All right. As you notice, that parsley will leave a little grain on your cutting board. That's okay, that's normal. Okay, look at my rice here. You don't ever want to take your lid off your rice. You can kind of move it around to kind of just give it a stir if you need to. All right, so what we're going to do with our Cajun seasoning, we are going to get our teaspoons. We have 1.5 teaspoon, okay? So 1.5 goes into one of the bowls. Let me grab another knife. And again, you want a nice measurement. So you're gonna do just like that. Keep in mind, this Cajun seasoning is going to be spicy. It's got cayenne pepper in it. Some of them will even have chipotle pepper in it. It will be hot, so make sure to be very sparing with it. Unless you like super spicy, then that's fine too. So, in the other one, you're gonna do 1 teaspoon. And how do you know how to tell which is which? Well, that we're gonna show you in just 1 second. So this one, we are going to put on top of the red beans. You see these red beans? There is a reason for that. The red beans and rice is a completely different dish, or I should say a side. So this will actually go together, okay? And we're just waiting for the rice to finish because we will be using about 8-9 ounces of rice that's already cooked for this dish here. So there's 2 types to this whole dish that we're doing. So we'll do that. Also, we'll do a 1/2 cup of the pre-diced, well, you can use pre-diced, but I use regular red onion because I use a lot of it. I'm going to put this over here with my other ingredients. So the red onion, we need a 1/2 cup that goes in with this, okay? And we need a 1/4 cup that will go into our shrimp mixture, okay? So let's get our knife. Make sure it's nice and clean. So with this being said, we'll cut this down here. Always want to have a nice flat surface to work with. So with this red onion, I just made it flat so that it's not rolling around. See that? How it's rolling around? That's dangerous. So I'm going to take this. Sometimes it has this little skins on them. Okay. And we will just make it, I would say probably cut about like that. So as you can see, okay. I'd say that's about maybe a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Okay. And then another one and another one. All right. And then I'm just going to do it this way. So now we have the long cut. We'll just slice it up. Okay, let's see if that's a 1/4 cup. No, it's close. That might be. All right, so that is a 1/4 cup right there. We're going to put this in here and set that aside. So if you like your onions smaller, by all means, it's personal preference again, once again. So let's see if this is a 1/2 cup. Need a little more. Okay. Anybody have any questions so far? Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it, for real. I hope everybody is doing great on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Hope you guys are following along and cooking with me. You guys think that already that dinner will already be ready. All right. If you see some of these that are kind of longer, just go ahead and just cut them in half. But most of the time, this way works. So we're just going to go ahead and that's going to be a nice 1/2 cup. All right. So again, just go ahead and get that into a little bowl. This is also going to be for the red beans and rice, okay? So now we're done with this red onion. We're gonna go ahead and put it back into a Ziploc bag and put that in the fridge. All right, next we're going to do the lemons and the limes. Now, lemons and you don't need a lot of it. So all we're gonna really do is we just need, I would say probably about a tablespoon, maybe. So I usually like to take my little cup thing right here. I don't know if you have any of these, but whatever works for you. But this works nice and quick. Okay. Just a little secret, you guys. This will actually make this like a half a lemon or a half a lime. This will actually, if you put this and the lemon together, you can actually put some simple syrup to get in it. Fill it up with ice and then fill the rest of it up with either water or soda water, and now you have a nice refreshing lemon lime beverage. So it's actually very nice. So tablespoon. I'm actually going to do the half a tablespoon because what we're doing here is we're actually going to mix the lemon and the lime juice. So we're going to do a half a teaspoon or half a tablespoon of the lime. Okay, and I'm going to put the rest of this over here aside so that I can squeeze the lemon. So go ahead and get this. Now the lemon. I don't know why I'm getting so clumsy today. This is crazy. Anyway. All right. Okay. And we'll do a half a tablespoon of the lemon juice. All right. I'll put this aside. Okay. Got parsley everywhere. All right. I'm not gonna lie, this is messy to make, you guys. So you will find parsley and everything everywhere. I don't know how it does that. I thought I had it contained into one little area, but it is what it is. Okay. Clean up our workstation. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm not going too fast. Everybody's good. Oh, I guess our rice is done. All right. Go ahead and put this stuff away real quick. We'll get to our nice rice. We're also going to do 3 tablespoons of the Kerrygold garlic butter. So that's the other thing that I need here. So this is nice and soft. I'm literally going to make tablespoons out of these. So I'm gonna put this in here. This Kerrygold butter is so good. But you can make your own garlic butter though, just an FYI. It really is super simple. If you wanted to make it yourself, but the Kerrygold is super awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that rice off. Okay. So for next week's show, or I should say class, we have a couple of things that we can make next week, and it's really kind of up to you. And what we'll do is we'll put a poll up for a couple of days just to see what people are interested in. But we do have another recipe from Publix, and it is the grilled pork chops with a Cajun sausage and rice side, basically. And so what I usually like to do is I make the Cajun sausage rice, and then I chop the grilled pork chop over top of that rice, and then just let everybody kind of dig in. The other option that we can do as well is the baked ziti. So you guys just let me know what you guys want to make next, and then we will go with the common denominator for next week's show, or next week's class. So I'm gonna put everything away. We'll get everything starting to come together. So kind of clean up a little bit, get all this stuff away, put all this to the side. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get our shrimp. Now comes the good stuff, guys. All right, and gals. Guys and gals. All right, so we're going to lay the shrimp out because these shrimp are wet. So I'm gonna lay these shrimp out on this cookie sheet. If you feel around on these shrimp and some of them are kind of mushy, throw them out. Don't trust them. I mean, you really do have to kind of feel them out and make sure that they're not gross, because some of them, especially if you get them from the seafood department, they can kind of be a mealy, squishy feeling, and that's not good. They're going to have your normal, normal shrimp feel, but I'm talking about if you actually go to just gently squeeze and they kind of crush in, that's bad. Get rid of it. You're not going to like it. It's going to be disgusting. So, not to mention it could possibly make you sick. So, moving on. We want to make sure that we get all of these shrimp in a nice single layer, because we're going to season them. But first, I want to get these dried off a bit before we start seasoning them. So, doesn't have to be perfect, but we definitely want to get them to a nice single layer. The whole purpose of trying to dry them off is we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of excess water into our dish whenever we're cooking it. But we will. All right, let me get some more paper towels. All right, so now we're gonna blot these. So you're just gonna kind of, don't crush them, but you definitely want to give a nice firm pat down. Pat them shrimp down. The purpose of the paper towel on the bottom is because it's patting down on the other side. So this way you don't have to flip them and then have to pat them down two sides. All right, so now we got those nice and dried. Flip that over and toss that away. Wash your hands after you go ahead and get these all nice and back down to one more layer, because we're going to season them. Okay, now wash your hands. Anybody have any questions at all? Everybody doing good? I hope you guys are enjoying it, learning something. This is a really super easy dish to make, you guys. It's just, there is a lot of chopping and stuff like that involved, but still, in the grand scheme of things, it's still, we're gonna be coming up on an hour, and that's awesome. So it will take less time when you're not like talking and trying to teach everybody. So, so this is a super quick meal, just to let you know. All right, so to go ahead, we're gonna go ahead and season the shrimp. Okay, so we're just gonna take our seasoning and we're just gonna lightly go over them here. Make sure that it's all covered. And the way that I'm kind of doing this, it's kind of hard for me to do. I guess I can do it left-handed because I'm ambidextrous, but you just want to go nice and easy over top. If you need to, you can also put it in your hand and sprinkle it around too. I've just been doing this for so long, I kind of know my dishes and how to sprinkle it without it going everywhere. Okay. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, definitely put it into your hand and sprinkle it around. All right. It's looking good. Hope you guys are hungry. All right. So we'll go ahead and put that to the side. We're gonna go ahead and heat this saucepan, frying pan. We're gonna heat this. I'm gonna put the rice over here because we don't need that right now. We're gonna put that to a medium-high heat. And we're going to put that on for 2 minutes. Okay. So anybody have any questions? How's this looking so far? I'm not hearing too much from you guys. You guys are kind of quiet today. So, you guys liking this one? What about for next week? Anybody have ideas for next week? You want to do the grilled pork chops, or do you want to do more of the baked ziti? Have any takers for that? Oh, thank you, Susan. All right, so I'm going to go ahead while we're waiting. Let me go ahead and get that out. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get 9 ounces of this rice. This rice looks amazing. Also make sure that whenever, I don't know how your pans are, my pans tend to get hot sometimes, but if you just test your lid before you take the lid off, make sure it's not hot. So, but you know your pans better than I do. So as you can see, this is a nice fluffy rice. Looks really good. Came out beautiful. I'm very pleased with this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dish out 9 ounces of it. So for all those pauses that we had, you didn't miss anything. I assure you, I stopped talking. All right. So, it's actually a little more. All right. So that is good. And I just... Okay. Go ahead and get this rice that I spilled on my... There we go. Get this off. All right. And that will be going into this pan in just a moment. All right. So now, what we are going to do... We're going to put the onions and the garlic butter two tablespoons of the garlic butter into pan. Go ahead and get one of these tablespoons out. So this tablespoon will be over here for this one. So I'm going to add the onions. And the butter. Okay. Stir that up. And Susan, can you still see me? I know that we had a little pause there for a moment. Everybody's still on? Everybody still can see me? Everything's good? All right, so now we're going to add the shrimp. I don't want to touch the shrimp because I don't want to have to wash my hands again. So, but we're going to add the shrimp, tomatoes, and the parsley. Okay. Get all that yummy stuff in there. All right. Put that aside. Tomatoes. Parsley. Beautiful. Look at how gorgeous this is looking. And I guarantee you it tastes amazing. Now, if you don't like your tails on, you can always have the tails off of your shrimp. I just happen to leave them on. I find that the shell actually adds a little bit of flavor. So. All right, so we're gonna add the lemon lime. Okay. And the best part, we get some Sauvignon Blanc. You need a half a cup of white wine. So if you don't have the Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Grigio, then you can, it does call for a white cooking wine. So if you don't have this, I just happen to like using a good white wine. It doesn't have to be expensive. This was a small bottle and it was only like $5 and something cents over there at Publix. So for those people out there that don't know what Publix is, that's my grocery store. That's a grocery store here in Florida. So I know that you don't always have Publixes up north. Okay, so we're just gonna let that kind of like simmer for a couple of minutes. And while that's doing its thing, and I'm gonna kind of like turn down the heat just a smidgen. What we're gonna end up doing is bringing this pan over here so that we can start with the red beans and rice, okay? Here we're gonna have it on a low heat, not a low heat, medium high. Look at this, is so pretty. And actually, I'm probably gonna just turn this off because these shrimp will continue to cook. Actually, I gotta leave this on. I forgot just a couple minutes because the wine has to cook off. So the wine's gotta cook off. That's why you gotta cook it for a couple minutes. But just make sure you're watching those shrimp. You don't wanna overcook these shrimp at all. So, shrimp do not take a long time to cook. So, all right, so with this pan, we're going to add the butter and the onions and the Creole seasoning. Gotta get my can opener. So this doesn't take long since the rice is already done. So. So I'm going to show you guys something that you don't see all the time for a recipe. This recipe calls for the beans to be undrained. So we are not draining. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to cook these shrimp any longer. I just don't like overcooked seafood. So I'm pretty particular with my seafood. So put that off the burner. It is still cooking. So even if there was a shrimp in there that wasn't fully cooked, it's going to be fully cooked by the time we're done. So we're going to go ahead. The butter is now melted and sizzling. See that? Going to go ahead and add our onions. Do not add any vegetables of any kind to any oils or butters unless it's sizzling and it's hot. What's going to happen is your vegetables are going to absorb that oil and it's going to be disgusting. So you're going to get a mouthful of oil. So now we're going to take our Creole seasoning or Cajun seasoning and we're going to go ahead and put that in there. Okay. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to go ahead and stir those up. Hi, Brown. Thank you so much for watching. These are so yummy and delicious. Oh my gosh, I can smell this onion and the Creole seasoning. Oh, the white wine sauce over here with the shrimp. Oh my goodness, guys. This is going to be so delicious. I can't wait to eat this because I have not made this in for so long, ever since the children have moved out. Well, the men have moved out. So, okay, let's see. So you're going to stir this, I would say probably about 3 or 4 minutes. We were already halfway through, so we're good. Okay. I like to make sure that they're nice and kind of browned out a little bit. But I don't know if you guys can see it. Looking really pretty. Look at that color. You can start seeing that these are kind of breaking down a bit. See that they're starting to lose that red color. So. Thank you, Susan. It smells so good. I wish you were here to try it. But if whoever is making it with me today, you're going to be trying it here in just a few minutes. So I think this is nice and golden brown, as you can see here. Nice and golden brown. See it pretty? Now we're going to add in the red beans. Undrained. Make sure to add all of that bean juice in there. And I'm not talking about coffee. All right, make sure to stir that up. All right. I'm gonna get that all nice and mixed up. And then we're going to add in the rice that we have measured out before. Get that good and mixed up. Now the recipe will say for you to let this sit on simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes. But that's also with them using a pre-made package of rice. I don't use pre-made packages of rice. I like to make my own rice. So you're welcome to use whatever you want to. It's your prerogative. It's whatever you want to do, whatever's easiest. Obviously, if you have your rice packet that's already made, obviously it's going to take a lot less time. But everything is so good when it's homemade. We're going to put that on there. We're going to let it sit for a few minutes, just for a couple minutes. We don't need to do the entire thing because, like I said before, it's been it's already been cooked. So, but we really want to let those flavors marry. In the meantime, I also want to keep these shrimp from, you know, overdoing it. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my bowls so that we can go ahead and dish this out, and you guys can see what it looks like all set up and made pretty. Get cleaned up here. Anybody have any questions? Any concerns? Any questions? Do you have any maybe additions, suggestions? Anybody know what they want for to make next week for the class next week, and whether it be the grilled pork chops with the sauce, the Cajun sausage rice, or if you'd like the baked ziti. I saw one person say baked ziti. Anybody else? Anybody else good with baked ziti for next week? Again, I will have a poll set up on our Cooking with Chef Dawn Facebook page. You guys can be the judge and see what we're going to make for next week. Let me go ahead and get my serving dishes. Okay, ziti. We got 3 zitis so far. All right. I get a lot of compliments on my ziti. Super easy, ridiculously easy to make, and also very delicious as well. So let me go ahead and wipe this counter down. And the joy of everything while you're waiting, go ahead and get you guys up here so you guys don't have to be looking at just a stove. Hi, how are you? It's good to see everyone. So now you can see. So I'm so excited. Okay. There we go. So. All right. So, if you are a Sauvignon Blanc drinker or a Pinot Grigio drinker, now you have a bottle of wine to be drinking while you're waiting for your food to finish. If you're not a drinker, well, we definitely have a seltzer or whatever that makes you happy. So always try to get my counters all wiped down so we're not making a huge mess. And it's easy cleanup for after you're done eating. There's nothing worse than eating and then having to go and clean up your mess, and then all of a sudden you're exhausted and you don't want to. And believe me, I've had my share of those nights. So I don't always have everything all nice and cleaned. But the intentions are good. Anyway. So I feel like we've this has been good enough. It's beautiful, it's bubbly, it's got gorgeous color. So I'm going to go ahead and plate really quick so that you guys can see what this will look like. I usually take a ladle. So I don't know how everybody's cooking skills are, but if you don't know what a ladle is, this is a ladle, okay? So we take one ladle and we put it into the center of the bowl, okay? And then another ladle. And if you have one ladle, that's fine. Most people have only one. I'm just kind of different because I cook way too much. So anyway, then for the shrimp, and again, you don't have to have the tails on, but I do. Do 1 scoop of these shrimp when they want to work with you. On top of that, this does feed a family of 4 for anybody who's curious. And get yourself some cornbread, and you got a beautiful dish. I'm gonna go ahead and set it down because I think that you'll be able to see it a little bit better. And we have New Orleans shrimp with Cajun red beans and rice from Publix Simple Recipes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this class. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any suggestions on other items that you would like to learn to make, please make sure to set them down into the comments field or simply message me. I'll be happy to look into it. I'm gonna also put that poll up on the Facebook page so that you guys can go ahead and vote on what you would like for next week. And then I will do, like we usually do, put a little video up of all the ingredients that will be needed for next week's class. So I hope you guys enjoyed everything. If you really like these classes, they are free. So if you know of anybody else that would benefit from these classes, please like, share, and follow our page. And then that way we can get everybody to learn how to cook. And that's the whole purpose of this show. So anyway, I thank you guys all so much. Let me take a look at oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure, for sure. Make sure that anybody have any other questions. Delicious, enjoy, you guys. Thank you so much, Jamila. I hope everybody has a wonderful week and a weekend coming up, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much, guys. My heart is full right now, and I'm getting ready to go eat some shrimp.